Hello, thank you for watching my PowerPoint on a naturalistic view of a beautiful woman who I will refer to as Grace for privacy reasons. Saved by Grace for Session 4 in Dr. Good's Lifespan course by Kim Perlin for Colorado Christian University. I chose this verse, so we do not lose heart, though our outer self is wasting away, our inner self is being renewed day by day because of its impression that the older generation does indeed reach out to religion on a more deeper level as they come nearer to the end of their life. The definition of old is having lived for a long time, no longer young by Google. Grace is a beautiful older woman in her 70s. Her life has been full of events, good and bad, that the lines both deep and fine on her face reflect. My first introduction to this woman was that of an old friend. "How have you been?" was her first question for me. Most people introduce themselves to me not with a greeting, but that which reflects their needs. "I am here for a doctor's appointment," or "I need to pick up my prescription," are the status quo for greetings. Grace's presence was not that of an "I need," but more of the "I am happy to be speaking with you" type. Grace was a widow first and then a divorcee with two daughters, one daughter who lives here in town and the other out of state. She lives alone in a senior living facility and admittedly is trying to convince her out-of-state daughter to come live in the same city as herself and her other daughter. Grace said she moved to town with only a glass figurine set and hopes for a good life. She loves animals but says she won't be getting another pet at her age for fear of leaving it alone should she pass. Grace has sky blue eyes, short red hair, and makeup that is always done perfectly with colors that accentuate her features, a stunningly beautiful product of experience and grace. Her smile and overall presence shows that she expresses integrity over despair despite life's trials and tribulations, where many others in her age group have given up and/or fallen victim to depression due to socioeconomic, health, or many other reasons. As people enter late life, they begin the struggle of integrity versus despair, which involves the process by which people try to make sense of their lives. Thoughts of a person's own death are balanced by the realization that they will live on through children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and the community as a whole. The struggle of integrity versus despair requires people to engage in a life review, the process by which people reflect on the events and experiences of their lifetimes. To achieve integrity, a person must come to terms with the choices and events that made his or her life unique. There must also be an acceptance of the fact that one's life is drawing to a close. Grace seems to have her priorities perfectly placed. She likes to talk about the time she spends with her daughter, especially at church. Grace knows that she may have many years left, but has voiced her concerns for her daughters to know God and be granted salvation. Grace's life events that have brought her here and helped form who she is cannot be summed up by this short list, and certainly given my intermittent times with her, the list is only the most recent events in her life. From the death of Grace's husband, to being remarried, then the divorce that brought her here to us, and then trying to convince her daughter to move closer to her, while embracing her age and reaching out for help, making her end-of-life decisions, and overall accepting what will be. This next slide is a graph that shows overall happiness achieved through a person's lifespan. According to this graph, Grace is at her peak of enjoyment through all her ups and downs over many, many years. Grace is at a time in her life where she has embraced her fate and is ready to receive her salvation. Clearly, this graph shows how ready some of us are to be accepted by God and how much happier those of us who believe and serve God can be compared to some who become lost during middle age. Even though Grace has seen many years of trial, she knows they helped her learn to accept what will be. God is in charge, and she has relinquished any control she thought she once had. She is friendly, patient, and takes the time to present herself stunningly. She engages everyone, even if it is only small talk. She knows she is a servant of God and realizes her purpose here on earth. Grace has come to terms with life processes and is succeeding with integrity. While research is still trying to support our older generation's happiness being directly related to believing and serving God, the research thus far points to the older generation who are more religious tend to demonstrate greater well-being than those who are not. Older people tend to be more religious in both church participation and beliefs than younger adults. Older people are more likely to maintain regular church attendance, reflecting patterns established earlier in life. It is only near the end of their lives when they become frail that religious participation declines. Other aspects of religiosity, such as subjective religiousness and the strength of religious beliefs, do not appear to decline in old age. I feel we could all benefit from learning Grace's integrity, elegance, understanding, and patience. The next slide is a song that reminds me of how fast life goes by. I feel Alan Jackson was singing specifically to Grace with his lyrics.